This video is about a post I saw on Facebook. I do understand sometimes people post things just because, and sometimes not even to spark conversation, because when there are comments that oppose what the author's views are, there ends up being an argument or a debate, and then people end up being nasty toward each other. And I'm just like, let's just be adults here and agree to disagree. Usually those kind of posts I don't even comment on, because I'm not going to go back and forth with someone that I don't know and who may just be trying to get attention. Anyway, the post was something about people are single because they spend too much time being alone. And I read that and I'm like, what? And so I dismissed it. A few days later, the thought came back to me, and I'm thinking, some people are not single just because they spend too much time alone. And I started thinking of other reasons why people may be single. And so that's what prompted this video, and also an article which will be linked below. So what I started thinking about was, sometimes people are used to being alone and spending a lot of time alone, and because of that, they're not consciously aware of making space in their life for someone else. And so they may want someone to be around, but because they're so set in their ways that new people in their life are uncomfortable, they don't feel like they ever really fit. They feel like they need to change in order to make this person happy, or things just have to be like just so. Things need to be a certain way, or they need to be a certain way. And so then I thought maybe that's what the original poster was talking about, like being so set in your ways that other people are just not willing to tolerate having to bend to your expectations all the time. So that I get, that I understand. I've also come across people who are single because they're not sure of who they are as a person. If you're not sure of who you are as a person, how are you going to be sure of what you want? You can say, you know, I want someone that's going to love me unconditionally, but they don't realize loving you unconditionally does not mean tolerating your bad behavior or any type of abuse or what have you. And so sometimes people want a certain thing, but they don't realize that they're pushing away what they want because of how they interact with people and because of their attitudes. Someone may like this person and see potential for a long-term meaningful relationship, or even just a regular friendship with that person, but because of their behaviors, they're just like, you're not going to keep like verbally being abusive or being physically abusive or just being inconsiderate or rude or arrogant, that type of thing. And so for those types of people, if you want a certain type of person in your life, you also need to be the type of person that draws them to you and not the person that will push them away. If you want someone that's kind and considerate and you're always rude to that person, they're not going to stay around long. If you don't appreciate them for who they are and for the things that they do for you and for the care that they show you, if you're not reciprocating, it's not going to be a healthy friendship. And if it's a relationship, it's not going to be a healthy relationship. Some people are single, even though they may be actively dating, because they have a certain set of standards that they want. They may want someone who has a similar lifestyle that they do. They may want someone who's established. They may want someone who wants the same things out of life that they do, or don't want the things that they don't want. Like if someone likes to travel, they may be holding out for a partner who likes to travel. Or if someone really wants children, they're not going to date people, not seriously date someone who doesn't want children. And so they may remain single because there's certain things that they're looking for that for whatever reason they're just not finding, or those types of people are not gravitating to them, or they're not gravitating toward that type of person. And so that's a situation where you think about, okay, are my standards reasonable? Are my expectations reasonable? Are my desires rational? And if all of those answers are yes, then hold out for the one that you want. I don't believe that people should settle for something less than what they want, as long as their expectations are reasonable and what they want from another person is rational. I saw, I forget who I was watching. It might have been Abba and Preach here on YouTube, and the video is not a new video, but they do reaction videos to little clips of other things. And this woman was talking about, if he makes twice as much as I do. He's broke, and that's not somebody I would date. And so they were like, what? They were like, wait a minute. So like, if you make $30,000 a year, if he's making 60, you're saying you wouldn't date him because he's broke. So like stuff like that. Like if your expectations are just irrational and unreasonable, why would someone like that even be attracted to you? Like if that's your mindset and that's your attitude, or if you're entitled or think that you deserve or expect certain things, but yet your attitude needs a bit of adjustment. So I'm just saying, think about your expectations and what your standards are for yourself as well as for other people. If you live in a raggedy apartment, don't just have your eyes set on, oh, he needs to have, a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom house. I mean, you guys are not even in the same lane, so to speak. And I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm just saying, like, from things that I've heard from people, and it just makes me like, huh? What? Okay, how's that working for you? So that's kind of my response when people tell me these things, or the types of people that they want, and then their life is the opposite of what they're trying to attract. There's terms floating around such as an introverted extrovert or an extroverted introvert. Sometimes people feel more anxious when they're out in public, especially in large groups of people, and so it may be more challenging for them to meet people. And you always hear, oh, well, you have to be seen, you have to go out, you have to make yourself visible. But for people who deal with anxiety or they're really introverted, it may be challenging for them to do so. However, it is necessary to some extent. Even if you're on meetup.com and you find a hobby you like a chess game, meetup group, and you go and you meet other people who play chess, you may click with someone there and develop a friendship or develop a relationship. But at some level, you have to put yourself out there to meet people. If you're just sitting at home thinking, the perfect person for me is going to knock on my door, well, it might be the postal person, and they might be taken. And if they're just delivering packages, they're not thinking about, trying to find a relationship from who they're leaving packages with. So again, it's back to being realistic, and you do have to put yourself out there to some extent in order to meet people. And not only just having an eye for, I'm looking for this particular type of person, but just making friends in general, because you might meet someone and they may know someone that they think might be compatible with you, like a friend of a friend of a friend type thing. Or if you develop a friendship with someone that you're not romantically interested in, they invite you to a dinner at their house, or they invite you to a gathering, you may meet someone there. So this whole part of the video is about just making yourself visible so that people will see you. And if you develop friendships with people, that 6 degrees of separation type thing. Meet someone who may know someone that may know someone that might be like, hey, I think you might get along with so-and-so. I mean, you never know. There are some other people who are loners who actually do prefer their own company. They like to be out and about. They like to engage in different activities. However, they may prefer to do them alone. And if they do prefer to have someone with them, it's always on their own terms. And so this person is someone who may not always be open to what you may want to do or when, but they're very particular about, they need their personal space, or they just want their personal space, or they just don't want to be bothered with other people in general. This type of person may prefer one-on-one outings. Oh, let's just go to the park, or let's just go to the museum. But if you were to invite them to like a family barbecue, they may not want to go. They just don't. And they wouldn't even go just because you would like them to be with you at that event. The things they do that include you is because they wanted to include you, but it's on their terms. Everything has to be, well, not everything. Most things has to be according to how they dictate it should be. It's challenging to be with that type of person, because if you do want to be out and about, that person may not be reliable to go with you. If they're constantly not wanting to just spend time in general with you, or it's only when they want to do something, or if they want to go somewhere, it's just challenging. And so that could be a reason why someone is single, is because they're a loner. And it's not necessarily because they spend too much time by themselves. They just prefer to be by themselves. And so that's their choice, and that's how they live their life. And that's something to understand too, is that it's not anything against you as a person. They just prefer their own company over almost everybody's. So it's not personal against you. There are some other people who are single because they just work a lot. Some people are workaholics and they intentionally work a lot. Some people work a lot because they're trying to meet a goal. They may say, you know, I want to buy a house in 5 years. And so they're hustling. They have, you know, a full-time job. They have like 3 side jobs. They have, you know, hustles they do and little gigs they do because they're on a mission. And so their mindset is not even, I'm trying to find a partner right now. Their mindset is, I'm trying to secure my future so that when I am ready to find someone, my life is already stable and my life is the way I want it. And I would hope at that time to meet someone who wants the same things that I want, or that has what I want and wants to share my life with me. And that goes back to having space in your life for another person. Is your life structured in a way where if you met a new person, they would be comfortable being in your space, where they would be happy to spend time with you and to just be a part of whatever your vision is, and hopefully they would have the same vision as you. On the same token, if you work a lot and you do happen to meet someone that you're interested in, but in your mind you're thinking, I am interested in this person, but I don't want to be in a relationship right now because my mind is on, I need to get my life together. You may meet someone that has that same vision. They might be like, you know what, I like you too. I'm trying to build something. You're trying to build something. Let's get together and build it together. If you have the same vision as someone and you're on the same track, you have certain goals and they line up with this other person, that may be the one for you. And so whether you actually develop a friendship or relationship at that time, if you two are working towards a common goal, it may really work out to your benefit. And so don't discount people because they have ideas and goals and dreams. If they differ from yours, then you may just be incompatible. But if you have the same life goals, it may just work out. And there are other compatibility things to consider. I'm just saying, if you're hustling for your future and so are they, maybe you can build that future together. There's also people who are single because they realize that they're not emotionally or psychologically ready for a relationship. And so that has nothing to do with them spending too much time alone. They realize, okay, I have certain issues in my life that I haven't dealt with, and I need to deal with that so that I can be as okay as possible, so that I can be of benefit to someone else. All of us to some extent are broken, not like severely, like we're just like, oh my gosh, like today I'm just gonna die. Like it's not anything really drastic, but there's things that I believe personally that there's something each of us can work on to just be a better individual. For some people though, they may have trauma that they haven't dealt with and they realize that they need to, and they realize I need to focus on getting my mind right so that I can be right for someone else. And not even necessarily for someone else, but just wanting to be the best person that they can be. And if you're the best that you can be, that's going to filter down into your friendships and relationships. And I do have videos on that already, so I'm not going to go too far into that. But if you meet someone who says, you know, I really like you and I do think, you know, that we may be good for each other, there's just things personally that I need to get together first. If you really care about that person, I shouldn't say it that way. If you see potential in that person and you do really like that person, I'm not saying put your life on hold for them, but just leave a little space and see, like, are they really going to get themselves together? Are they really resolving these issues that they say that they're working on resolving? And I do think it's okay to be with people like that. I tell people all the time that I know, I don't care if I meet someone and they have issues. We all have issues. Like you guys who have been here before, y'all seen my videos, y'all know I got issues. And so we all do. But I tell people, I don't care if people have issues. My thing is are they working on their issues? Are they working on improving their issues? Are they working on improving their perceptions? Are they working on being better individuals, period? And if so, I don't have a problem with that. And so that's what I'm saying. And so if you meet someone and they're saying, I just need to get myself together, you give them space and time to see if they do. They may, or they just may be providing lip service. I don't know, time will tell, but it's up to you if you want to maintain a little bit of space in your life to see which way that they're going to go. Regardless of why you're single, I think it's up to you to be realistic, well, to each of us to be realistic in what we desire from another person. At the same time, we need to be honest about what we have to offer to other people. And this goes into what I was saying earlier. Like, if you're living in a rundown part of town and you're saying you only want someone that lives in a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom house, live in the suburbs, it's like, is that realistic? What do you have to offer to them? You know, don't be the type of person where people have to give to you and you just take, and you have nothing to give in return. And if you live in a shack and you're building towards a better future, then that's fine. You'll eventually meet someone. Either way, you'll meet someone. We meet people all the time. But as far as building a long-term healthy friendship or relationship, there does need to be some compatibility in our life goals and in how we perceive ourselves and each other. If you're a positive person, you generally will gravitate towards positive people and they'll gravitate towards you. If you have a negative attitude most of the time, positive people are not going to want to be around you. It's not going to be logical for you to complain that, you know, people don't want to befriend you when you have a horrible attitude, because it's your behaviors that's driving people away. And that goes into something I said earlier in the video. And so these reasons are not inclusive as to why some people are single. These are just some reasons why some people are single, other than they just spend too much time alone. And so in a way, even though I initially dismissed that post when I read it, it came back around in my mind because it bothered me, because I wondered, like, does this person really believe that, or are they just posting this just to get comments or attention on Facebook? And so that's my thoughts on that. And let me know what you think about this stuff. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here, and you will see me in the next video.